All right, let's get a new 30-minute game going. Unbelievably, this is the third game I'm recording today. E4, C6, we get the caro-kann. Queen comes out to F3. I don't think anything to worry about here. I think we play D5, yeah. I mean, if they're trying to get the scholars made in, it's interesting. Maybe knight out. I guess no, knight out runs into if they push e5. Well, gosh, what do we do here? I think the move in like the main line sometimes is takes, or it's like takes, and then they have a knight out on c3, so then it's takes, and then our bishop comes out. That's not going to work here. I think I don't mind taking. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, and now they can get their light squared bishop out. I think here, I would guess the move is just play e6 immediately. Locking in our light squared bishop for the time being. Yeah, I mean, is there anything else we can do? We could play our knight out like this, which looks kind of weird. But it hits their... Oh, that'd be fun. I like that a lot, actually. So knight out to d7. They play bishop out to c4, and then we play knight to e5. So both guarding the f7 checkmating square and hitting, forking their queen and their bishop. So let's do that. Expecting to see. It's been a series of strange games where opponents have played like aggressive or super strange openings. Okay, they develop a little bit more modestly. I think we could still play like this. I guess, yeah, knight out hits their queen and also opens up this for a dark squared bishop. I don't see why not. Okay, their queen moves, hitting our knight. Maybe this was a mistake. Because we don't have a way to defend this knight very well. We could move back over here to g6. So I'd like to play... I mean, we can't... I don't like the queen on c7 so much. I guess... Queen out to a5 defends the knight, but then they have like this. We come out like this. A queen on b5. No, we can't do that because their light squared bishop guards it. Okay, so this is a little bit awkward. I don't love this. Maybe just, yeah, knight back to g6 seems like the move. They play h3, sort of curbing the development of our light squared bishop. I think we're just going to have to lock it in for the time being. Maybe we can play b5 or b6 in a little bit, permitting our light squared bishop to come out like this. Knight out to f6 looks good, hitting their pawn here. I guess knight out to f6, push, and then knight gets to d5, and it's got like a stronghold. That's interesting. Should develop carefully. We could play, bishop out to d6 looks really good. It hits their queen. If they want to push, then we can take, and it's protected by our knight here. And if they want to do something like bishop out, we also have takes, takes. So our knight on g6 is actually weirdly well positioned. I did not expect that. It's sort of a happy coincidence. But I really like knight out to d6 next. Or bishop out to d6. They push f4. I guess we can't really move forward with our plan now, because now this is protected by a pawn. Okay, and maybe they're preparing to push here. We could queen out to b6. I think threatening this check, which looks a little bit better. Yeah, and then we're threatening like takes, we're threatening all sorts of nastiness. So queen to b6 looks like a good candidate move. Getting castled quickly looks decent. Oh, there's an idea. Bishop to e7, and then bishop to h4, pinning the queen to the king. Oh, that looks like a winner. That looks like a winner. Yeah, let's do that. This is also just like a modest developing move that I like in the caro. Bishop to e7. Typically, the knight has already come out to f5 at that point. But in this case, I think we have this wonderful tactical opportunity of bishop to h4. It might be just another super fast game today. If we win their queen and our opponent resigns, it seems like it's going to be the game. Super weird day today. Just a series of very fast games. I guess it's too soon to say whether this will be another very fast game. Okay, so they spot the threat, the queen moves. We could still play this check, and I think it forces their king to move, because they don't have any pieces they can put in front of it, because they pushed f4. So, bishop out. Actually, our queen is locking up all of these squares, so the king has to move to f1. And then can we do anything from there? Let's see. Bishop out to h4, king over to f1. Up like that. That doesn't do anything. Oh, wait. Yeah, if we do b6, bishop out to a6, if they take, then we have queen check. Queen comes down, queen takes, supported by our bishop. Yeah, so let's, I mean, again, I don't see why not. Oh, I guess they have a pawn move. Okay. Well, that's a bummer. Didn't see that. Anything we can do about this? No, I don't think so. I think we retreat. Let's see. I mean, we could play this check as well, but that's not going to do anything for us. They have simply c3 or the more forcing bishop to d2. So I don't want to play that card quite yet. Okay. So if we retreat here, they have that hitting our bishop again. I guess, I mean, do we have takes? Queen takes. That doesn't do anything for us. That's just a piece sacrifice. Let's go all the way back to e7. And then play a little bit more thoughtfully here. Knight comes out. Knight could come out to h6, I guess. But then it doesn't have anywhere else to go. Both of these spots are guarded by pawns. So knight to f6. Gosh, I don't know. Maybe we push these two and then get our bishop up onto b7. That looks decent. Ooh, that's interesting. So we have queen over. No, that doesn't do anything. Say queen over check. Pawn comes up. And then it's guarded by their queen and their knight. So that's not going to do anything for us. Knight out. If they push, we can drop back to d7. Looks decent, especially if we're planning on getting our light squared bishop out sort of over on the queen side. Let's do that, and then we can get castled. It's another piece developed as well, which I really like. And actually, if we push these pawns first, I mean, this is 3 moves away. But then we could potentially take this pawn or advance our knight to e4, and that starts to look dangerous. These are 2 checks we have available to us. We have castling kingside available to us. I don't know if I love castling kingside with all these pawns as advanced as they are, but something to think about. I guess here we also have knight to d5 hitting their queen. Okay, so they play a knight out, adding a protector to this e4 pawn, I guess. We could come out and pin their knight. That looks really good. So now they only have 1 defender. So we come out, maybe bishop comes out, queen comes out, and they have 2 defenders. And then we only have 2 attackers. Okay, so that actually does not work out. Okay. So yeah, maybe we go ahead and push, curbing the development of their queen. And then, or maybe, yeah, definitely push first. Oh, I guess push, then they have bishop to b5 check, and we don't have a good way to defend against that anymore. I guess we have this. Or we also have, yeah, we have our light squared bishop comes out to defend that. Okay, so we have some options. So let's go ahead and push here. Free up some room on the queen side. And open up developing prospects for our light squared bishop onto b7. Maybe castled, rook over to e1 looks good. Okay, so they move their dark squared bishop over onto b2, fianchettoing it. Now this pin looks really powerful because they don't have another piece they can add to it. Well, I guess, what am I talking about? Their piece is currently defending that knight. So that's not going to work for us. Okay. Well, they can't break the pin. Yeah, let's do that. They might push and we can drop back. Or no, if they push and we drop back, then they push again and we've trapped our dark squared bishop. If they push, we could bishop to c5, hitting their queen. Seems decent. All right, knight comes out. Bishop to b7 looks good. I guess if we push this pawn, then we're in danger of trapping our light squared bishop, which of course I don't like. And if they do choose to castle, or I guess we still have this option of, yeah, this actually looks really good. bishop moves, their queen has even further squares that it can move to. Yeah, seems good. Their queen moves out. Or their queen moves out like this. We could do a queen trade. We have this check available to us. I don't think that does anything. Might have forced ourselves to do a queen trade a little bit, which I don't love. We could move our queen up to e7 and then bishop back here, forcing a bishop trade. Move their queen all the way back to c1. I think that's good for us. Let's see. Takes. Let's get our bishop developed. And then maybe, oh, this is sort of messy. Maybe reinforce this pin again. Push. And then we can take this piece. There we go. That's a move. That wins us a pawn and starts getting us into their position. We have this check available to us. We have, if for some strange reason we needed it, we have these checks available to us. Those both look terrible because they sacrifice our queen. Okay, so we can't reinforce this pin anymore. Maybe we drop back to, we could drop back to c6 and then back to c7. Still a nice square for our bishop, and then that permits us to push c5, putting pressure on the e4 pawn. That doesn't look like any good. Well, I guess that takes. No, that I don't like that. So let's. Oh, whoa, slow down. And if we drop back to d6, they come here pinning or forking our knight and our bishop. So all the way back to e7 it is, permitting us to push c5 at long last. I guess still the danger, c5, bishop comes out, knight comes down. No, I think we need to get castled first. Because we... Oh, they go ahead and push. Okay. Because that comes out to here with the stronghold seems decent. Or comes up to here. That's not defended by anything. We have a number of options, so let's evaluate our options here. Oh, I like... Yeah, h5 actually looks really good because we're hitting this hanging g3 pawn, and that forks their light squared bishop and their rook. And we have a couple of options. If they want to push, we can take this other hanging pawn. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm expecting maybe rook over to g1 to defend that threat. And then we also have, this is interesting, takes, check, takes, check. It's a piece sacrifice. I don't know if I love that actually. So maybe we can finish our plan now. No, we got to get castled first. Get castled first, and then we can push this c5 pawn. Takes looks interesting. A little piece sacrifice there. They move their knight back. Probably a good move. We have, oh my gosh. That's a monster move. Queen up to d4, hitting their hanging rook. That square is simply not attacked. And then it's not checkmate because their bishop can block it, but this combination of like queen to d4 and then knight takes on g3 looks awful for our opponent. What can they do in response? They can move a knight out of the way, hitting our hanging bishop, but this knight is guarding that bishop. Yeah, I think that looks really, really powerful. So I guess, good question, do we want to play c5 first? Opening up our light squared bishop on this position as well, this super nasty long diagonal. Up. I think that gives them a moment. They can play like knight out to b5, which looks bad for us and prevents. Then they've got two pieces guarding the d4 square. So let's do this now. We don't have another second to waste. They need to move their rook out of the way. Or I guess this would be the move, huh? Knight back to f3. Well, that's disappointing. So they do have a way out of this. All right. Well, that's okay. What can we do instead if they do make that maneuver? We could drop back. Well, no, I think we would just drop back to like d7 maybe. Not all the way back. Okay. Oh, they move their rook up. Let's now push. Oh, push c5. Classic caro-kann move. Discovered attack on their rook. Their rook, I think. Oh, they take our knight. Okay. Very cool, but I think we take their rook. I should have spent more than 2 seconds to see if they're threatening anything else here. But I think now we have this check here. And maybe not quite checkmate, so let's look at this. So if they take, we can take with our f-pawn, opening up the f-file for attacking. They won't have a light squared bishop to attack anymore. So let's look. If they take here, we take here. Their king moves out of the way to e2. And then I don't think we have another safe way to check them, actually. No, yeah, that doesn't quite work out, does it? I guess we have this check here. Okay, they move guarding this checking square. Let's see. Okay. So we're in a somewhat vulnerable position here. And I want to proceed carefully and thoughtfully. Our queen is hanging. Or not hanging, but it's attacked by a piece of much less value. So what are safe spots that our queen can move to? Let's evaluate all of them. I want to get this right. These are all attacked or defended. This diagonal, this defended, 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 defended. Loses the queen, loses the queen. F2 is guarded by the king. G1 is guarded by their knight. This is guarded by their pawn. Okay, so we've got a couple of options. I think probably E3, this one, is too saucy. Because it allows, for example, I don't know, they can drop back and they have a discovered attack on our queen, so I don't want to do that. D5 looks like an option. And then can they throw in another attack? I guess if D5, then knight over here, and that looks bad for us, so I don't want to do D5 necessarily. So really just D7 and D8. I like D7. Let's do that. That looks decent enough. We have a hanging pawn here that we can grab. All right. We can get our rooks doubled up. So we're up in exchange. They move their pawn. That's a shame. This is an option. Takes with check. And then where do they go? They move over to D1. Pins. No. Takes. Okay. So that doesn't work. Let's take a moment. Get a couple extra pieces developed. What's a good piece to get developed? Rook over to E8, rook over to D8, adding some firepower to our queen looks really good. I guess if this, then they can also take like this, and then we've ruined our attack. That's no good. Yeah, let's well, yeah, I think rook over to D8 looks probably best. Well, we could also do rook F to D8. My thought is maybe we can get this to open up a little bit if we like push. That seems decent. So maybe, yeah, rook F to D8 first. If they want to take here, I would say now we take with our H pawn. Yeah, rook F to D8. Cool, because I don't want this E6 pawn going anywhere, and I want it protected by that F7 pawn. So I want to keep that pawn chain in place. Very exciting stuff. Fun to get a real game in. After two very quick, somewhat less than challenging games. If we push, this also opens up our dark squared bishop for potential activities. Their dark squared bishop comes out. Maybe, I don't know what it is they're imagining. Maybe they want to, maybe they see that, like, maybe we want to come out here. If they push like that, then that's bad for us. But I think we can push A5 first, adding our rook as a defender of this piece, and then we can push however we want, really. Maybe push. I guess this also defends their knight on D2, which helps them a lot. Gosh, their king is so exposed. Is there any way we can force this knight to move? I don't think so. Takes. Check. Takes. Oh, we don't have anything further from there. Sort of tight position for our opponent. Okay, they get one of their knights out. Where is it going? maybe takes here. Looks decent. So we could add our queen as a defender of that square. Or rook to b8. Sort of don't want to do that. I mean, if their knight comes out to b6, whether or not there's a pawn there, it's forking our queen and our rook. So I think queen up to c6 looks good here. Queen up to c6, I guess they have... No, that's guarded by our pawns, so that seems fine. Okay, so let's protect against that. Is there anywhere else they can go? It's like super dangerous? I don't think so. And then double up our rooks on the d file. You also have bishop back to f3. If they take, we can take back. Gosh. Okay, I'm running out of time here. What is our strategy at this point? I think we just want to start trading down pieces and eventually... Okay. Wonderful. So they take, we will take back, I think with our h-pawn as discussed. This is checkmate. Although I guess they can drop back and defend that square, so that doesn't actually work out. Can we scare their knight off somewhere else? If their knight comes out to... So what do we push here? Will they go back? Probably, because that's hitting their... Or that's hitting our light squared bishop, so it looks like a decent move. Back like that. Check. Queen takes. Oh, I don't know if that's going to work. I think that trade was in her favor. We have both the bishops, which is pretty cool. Or the bishop pair. Yeah, so I think here we move back to f3. Yeah, just get our bishop out of the way. Sort of a one-move threat, which is nice, that we don't have to contend with too much. Not a lot of spots for our rook to go to. Just d7, this is taken. Yeah, all of these are defended, so just rook to d7, rook a to d8. Seems like the next logical move for me. And then what do we do? Force a trade of some sort? Or if we come up, then their knight takes, and that obviously doesn't work for us. We could threaten... Oh, that threatens checkmate, doesn't it? Queen over to b5 threatens checkmate. I guess forcing... It would force their knight back to g1, which also hits our rook, which I don't want. Like that. Oh, that's a fork. Or that's defended, I guess. But yeah, knight to g1. Yeah, so queen to b5, knight to g1, so that's no good for us. I think doubling up the rooks in the d file looks like the biggest threat right now. They could try to get castled, I guess. Has their king moved? I guess maybe they'll try to get castled, yeah. Well, they can't do that. They can't castle through check, so bummer for our opponent. Rook to d7. Rook a to d8. Looking like the two next best moves for us. Oh, this is interesting. Takes, check. No, that doesn't work, because their knight is guarding that square. Knight is guarding g2. Takes, check. And then probably checkmate to follow somehow. I mean, there must be something, right? No, we only have like 2 pieces involved, so I actually don't think so. I think our opponent is discovering that they can't castle, and they've just moved their queen to an awful square. This whole diagonal is super clogged up with their pawns. It's interesting. So their king moves. No, it's not a threat. I think we go ahead and double up our rooks anyway, because they can't take our bishop because it's guarded by our queen. I guess these are unforkable squares, but the two squares that our queen and bishop could be forked on, one of them is covered by a pawn, and the other one is guarded by one of our pawns. So I think we finish doubling up. This trade looks decent. And then we have takes with check. And then king moves to... That doesn't quite work, does it? Alright. I'll have to put my thinking cap on to find a way to deliver checkmate. But our king is nice and safe, and theirs is very exposed. I wonder, bishop back, if we can get them to move their knight somehow, maybe like push and then offering that trade. This and then this. Bishop back to h1, queen to g2 looks very powerful. Or I guess bishop back to h1, queen to f3. Look at that. That looks very bad for our opponent, and I think we win a piece out of that at least. So I think, yeah, that's probably our next move is bishop to h1. Opening up that square for our queen, and I think they will fall pretty quickly after that. Yeah, boop. Okay. Our opponent has 12.5 minutes to figure this out. I'm feeling pretty good about our chances. I think the big thing that I would be concerned about in normal circumstances is this bishop-queen battery. It's blocked by their pawn on e5. They made all those pawn pushes, and I don't think that was a strong idea. So they push b4, maybe hoping to open up a square for their queen. Or I don't know, like taking or something. But I think this is such a big threat, even if they do take a pawn. Because if they take the c5 pawn that's playing into our plans, and if they take the a5 pawn, I don't mind sacrificing that for a strong attack. So move back here. Oh no. That's guarded by their rook. Well, I guess we don't lose it if they want to take it. Queen to f3. I guess they have king back to g1. Looks interesting. This is sort of a piece trade, isn't it? Let's see. King. Either way, you can take this piece. King takes. We can take that piece. Okay. So we just start vacuuming up pieces, and then the game is over. We'll still need to proceed thoughtfully, I think, but we'll see how it goes. Is there any way? I guess they could play like, yeah, knight to g1 looks decent. Adding a defender to this f3 square, which is, I think, going to get very dangerous very quickly. What do we do if we play that? If they play that? We have this check takes check. And then, okay, they take. Move forward with our plan. Big check here. fine sacrificing a pawn for a strong attack. If they move back here, I guess either way, we take this knight, and if they want to take our bishop, then we take their other knight. And then I think rooks come down, and then the game is over. Yep. Interesting thought, I guess. Do we play this first? No, I don't think so. I think that's a bad idea. Let's take these pieces first. Or this piece, certainly. That's forcing that comes with check, and that's great. They will take our bishop. Rook comes out, takes with check. They move up to one of these two squares. Check. King to h3. Rook over to h1, checkmate. Okay, so I think we have checkmate here. Let's see if we can pull it off correctly. Yep, they take. We will force this exchange. If they want to block with their knight, for example, we take, and that's checkmate. I guess they could... Oh, that's interesting. They could block with their bishop. And then I think we just take their rook. Queen takes. Queen takes. Okay. So they block with their bishop, we trade rooks, and then I'm up another piece. Just like that. Takes. Okay, so they move. I think probably takes here. Takes. They move up. We take their rook. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to have to do. They move up. We'll take here. They come down. Yeah, let's get this piece off the board. And now we're truly up material. Okay. We'll just take this to be safe. Okay. Now we've got a moment to think. So how do we deliver checkmate here? This is actually sort of challenging. We can't really get our rook into the mix anywhere that I would want it to be. All those squares are guarded. So how can we finish delivering checkmate here? Pawn push to g5 looks decent. Clearing out some of this defensive barricade around their king. They take our pawn with their bishop. Let's see. What can we do about this? Comes up to d1, hitting their queen, and then they have a bunch of squares they can go to. So I don't think that's a huge threat. But let's go ahead and do that anyways. I think they're probably looking for like a back rank idea, but we have escape squares, so I think we're fine there. We hit their queen, we can come over. Oh, that's checkmate, isn't it? Yeah, because our queen is covering the diagonals and the horizontals. There we go. So we've got checkmate here. They have to take back. Okay. And if they move their queen out of the way, checkmate is soon to follow. I would even go so far as to pre-move that if I had pre-moves enabled. That is an intentional handicap. I don't want to be making pre-moves in these sorts of games where part of the intention is to play longer time controls, play thoughtfully. Yep, we'll take back. And then, honestly, I'm just gonna take up some of these pawns and then call it. Or I wonder, I mean, we could play like, oh, that's probably a little bit better. F5. If they want to take en passant, we can take back and then get a pawn. If we have a pawn on F5, basically, then queen to H1 is checkmate because their king's escape square is covered. So let's play F5 next. If they want to take en passant, we take back, and then the game is over. Or I guess if they push G4, then they have options there. I guess if they push G4, then we have queen. Oh, okay, so they move. Let's push F5 as planned. Expecting to see en passant. But if they want to do something else, that's fine too. If they want to continue to push this pawn, then we have queen to H1 checkmate. Oh, well done. Can we force their king back to H3? I think so. Let's do that. And then maybe if we need a little bit of extra help, we push our pawn to C4, bishop comes out to C5, and then supports a queen checkmate. Yeah, let's do that. So we have check. King moves here. Queen moves here. King moves here. Queen moves here. Okay, well done. They guard the checkmating square. Our opponent's playing very well. Let's actually... Yeah, let's fork these pawns and their bishop. Pick up some additional pieces. Just clean things off the board. I think being sensitive to our not rapidly dwindling time, but like we are running a little bit low on time. So is our opponent. So I think as long as we play thoughtfully, we'll be able to clean the remaining pieces off the board and deliver checkmate. I think bishop to d4 looks decent. We'll take this pawn, and then our bishop will come out, pinning their bishop to their king, and then the game is over. We have a queen, they don't have anything. We will deliver checkmate as expediently as possible. I'm sure we'll get to the game review, and I will have missed mate in 2, mate in 3, mate in 1 at some point. Yep. All right. King move is probably the right move here. Or maybe if we're lucky, we'll get G4 and then we can pin like that. Nope, it's not going to do it. They need to take, otherwise they will lose their bishop outright. We'll take back with check. Oh gosh, I think probably most expedient just to get our king involved and deliver checkmate this way. sort of work our way up. I mean, it's going to take a little bit to get our king in the game. But I think delivering checkmate with a king and a queen seems best. I mean, I guess we can play like queen to a3, queen to a2, pinning their king to the back rank. Yeah, let's do that. And then it should be a little bit easier to deliver checkmate. We just need to get our kings in opposition and deliver checkmate. Same way you do with the king and a rook. Nothing too exciting here. Actually, how do we break through here? That was a mistake. That's not correct at all. I think this is better. They need to move back. Oh, this is great. Okay. So we got it figured out. That pawn push I made was certainly a mistake. All right. And now we'll get our king up, get our kings in opposition, and then queen to a1 will be checkmate. And they might have promotion ideas, actually, since I made that silly pawn push. Take... Gosh, I need to calculate this now. Okay, so king, pawn, king, queen, checkmate. Okay, so this works out for us. This will be a very exciting moment where promoting to a queen will actually be a blunder because it permits checkmate. Pawn to g8 equals queen. Okay, no, they correctly. Oh, actually, this is exciting. They move all the way over. I'm going to take a moment to analyze this. So if we move here, they can promote with check, and they get a queen. And I don't think there's anything I can do about that. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is checkmate, isn't it? Silly me. I forgot we were doing this with the queen. Yeah, a couple misses there. It was delivering checkmate as though we had a rook, and we did it with the queen. So I'm gonna respond to our opponent's chat real quick. Just a nice, good game from our opponent. Cool. Let's take a look at the analysis. Switch to the analysis tab. Turn this on. Let's take a look at the top of the game real quick. Real, caro-kann, queen comes out early, to an early advantage for black, I would say. We think getting that knight out was not the best idea. Let's see. Yeah, so we correctly move their king to e3. That's great. We deliver this check. A little disappointing that they were able to block up the pawn move. I'm surprised I didn't see that. Let's see. A slight advantage for white here, actually. Force the queen out of the way. A lot of bishop moves. We get castled. Here we go. And the engine is saying that knight takes h4 as the top engine move. So probably like takes, something like that. Yeah, that looks pretty decent. and then we have this monster bishop check available to us, but we didn't find that. Now it's still saying knight takes is a strong engine move. They take, we take, so we get up this exchange, and now there's an advantage for black. Okay. Pretty cool. Trading down pieces when you're down on exchange, not a strong idea. We get our rooks aligned. Yeah, queen f3. This is interesting. Here, rook takes h1 was the strongest engine move. Just robbing us of a piece that we could use in an attack. King g1. We take. Yeah, I missed mate in 4 here. No, mate in 4 was if our opponent made a mistake. e2. Yeah, I did not have checkmate here. Just a ludicrously strong attack. Here we go, and I think we did spot. If we have, I don't know if they like move out of the way, we have mate in 1. But fortunately our opponent spotted that. We're up a queen. There's a mate in 5 sequence that I missed. It's all right. And then certainly pushing that pawn was a big mistake. And we get our king into the game, mate in 10, mate in 9. Mate in 3, mate in 2, mate in 1. And then this is a huge blunder for me. I had it in my head that I was doing checkmate with the rook, so I needed to get our kings in opposition. But since I'm doing it with the queen, queen to c2 would have been checkmate. Queen to a1, also checkmate, because the queen is guarding sort of this bubble around the queen in addition to the king. Okay. And then a silly checkmating sequence follows. Cool. That's it for me. A new all-time high of 1167. Very exciting. I think I'm going to call it here. Have a good one, y'all.